go. Let's go.
Welcome again to another video with NerdTots. Today we're doing a little something different. This is the second take. That's why I'm kind of stumbling over my words. Kind of had it good. Then Adon had to cut the video. I don't know. Blame Adon. So we're here doing something completely out of the ordinary. Something we should have done from the beginning. But now we're kind of going backwards because we're introducing new people to the channel. And hopefully they kill Adon. We're going to go around the table introducing ourselves, then I'm going to explain what we're doing, and then we're going to pass it off to the person that's going to explain it a little bit better. Going to my left.
Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Damian Alpizar. I don't have a very cool online handle except for Mr. Creative Freedom, aka Damzar.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out.
Zori13. I'm just going to be helping these guys build out some characters today, which is...
I didn't say explain now. I said we were going to go back to that. Go ahead.
Back to it. They can't see him, fool. He's the cameraman.
He has
He's
a
behind.
camera.
Actually, I have a camera.
Oh, you have a camera?
Like,
Okay.
For
the
special
laptop,
moments.
that's right.
Yeah, it works. Probably gonna keep this. Adon Tron, thank you guys. I'm usually your host, but for this time, just to let these guys feel happy.
First of all, to our OG fans, who is always the one doing the intros and hosting it? Today we're going to be building out character sheets for a potential campaign that we might be starting or one shot. I don't know where we're going with this direction. They don't tell me anything. They just tell me, can you show up? Yes, I can show up. Come on. That's what they do with me. I'm kind of like the stepchild here. So we're going to be building out characters with our man Damian here. We're going to see where this goes. I haven't done one of these in about 2 years. I've completely forgot how to do it. So to help us with that, John's going to go step by step and explain it to you guys.
So basically what this is a session 0. What we should have done in the beginning of campaign 1, where we kind of just introduce our characters, we're doing the whole build. So that way you guys can see it. If you want to learn how to build it yourself, you guys have that access to it. But this is our session 0 for whatever mini adventure we end up doing. So, I mean, you guys have ideas of what you want to do as far as like where you want to take your character?
Well, I mean, considering the fact that I've never officially build a character ever, no, I have no idea. I mean, I know the kind of characters I like and I may kind of gravitate towards stuff, but then again, I might go just completely rando and be like, yo, I'm gonna let fate decide and just build my character based on what the dice tell me. So I might just go completely rando. So
I like where his head's at.
I mean, that's what you did the first time anyways.
I did.
Yours like dragon, I'm gonna do that one. Blue, my favorite color. Oh, I can do lightning? Sweet.
That's exactly how that first character came about.
Hey, hold on, blue dragon with lightning. That sounds actually pretty. I wish I could.
Listen,
mine's gonna be like imp.
Fuck you.
Mine's gonna be like imp. He's missing a leg and arms. Quadriplegic. Okay. No magic or abilities and can't. All right, that's fine. But he's got a great personality and can paint with his nose. Fine, I can work with that. Yeah, sure. I'll have some strange character that I've never
he's
heard
the
of.
Dedicated team bait is what that character is.
Anytime we need bait, go Stubby.
Just roll me forward.
Oh, little ting ting. Oh, little ting ting.
Alright, so the first thing we're going to go and do is choose your guys' races. So, based on just any kind of fantasy thing, what would be a race that you feel you would have the most fun playing as?
Well, my wife says I often look like a barbarian or one of those. What was Khal Drago? I'm talking about like they're a barbarian type of horseback riders.
Yeah, they were. I don't know what they're called.
Damn.
Okay, so we probably should narrow it down to like the types of races or a few different types of races for the general audience, though.
I'm not just gonna sing about races. That's racist.
No, that's classification.
You have your classic ones. You got your humans, dwarf, elves. There's variations of elves like wood, high elf, dark, drow, different dwarves as well. But then you have genie type races, which are genasi. They come in the 4 elements. You have cat people if you want to be a cat person. You have the dragonborn. You have lizard folk, gnomes, goblins, Goliaths, which are basically pseudo giants that don't grow hair.
Okay.
Angels.
Mm-hmm. There are angels. You can be an Asmar, which is a dedicated angel, or fallen angel. They have 2 variations as well.
One's the light, the other is the dark.
Basically, you can turn any creature you can think of, you can make that as a playable race. And so this session 0, we're not going to limit to just what's in the player handbook. We can be, if you feel you want to be some kind of bear boy, we can make you a bear boy.
Bear boy, here. Bear boy. All right. I naturally gravitate towards characters that can both be fighters and wield at least some small level of magic. So, what would you say that would be?
So what's wonderful with D&D, any race can kind of be a mix of both. It depends on how you want to build it. Now, some races do get extra benefits, as far as like elves, for instance. They have a natural ability to magic, but they also have a natural resistance against being charmed by other magic, and they have benefits of not typically having to sleep as long as others.
They can trance.
Then you have dwarves, which again are good at magic, good at fighting, and they have resistances to poisons, and obviously they can drink a hell of a lot. So every race you can make it a magic wielder or physical wielder, depending on how you want it.
So if a barbarian were to have sex with an elf, what would that be?
Well, it depends. What
badass motherfucker.
So
the barbarian was an orc.
Barbarian is more of a class. So you like any one of these races could have a barbarian class.
Yeah.
Is there such thing as a barbarian elf?
Yeah.
You can have one. Yeah. I was a gnome, which is like a very gnome monk. So I was like next to a fairy. I was like a very short monk that could like wail out on people.
You know, like what's the name from Dragon Ball?
The one that always hung out with Tien.
Oh, Chaozu?
Chaozu. That's what he was.
We don't know what Chaozu was really.
He's a Pokemon.
He was.
He was something.
He was a Mr. Mind baby. Is what he was.
So this is a good question. How about your physical characteristics that you want? Is height a factor that you want? Like, do you want to be?
You want to be a larger type of humanoid? Would you prefer to be something more slender?
Like, I know typically when Jay builds his character, he picks a bigger build character usually.
You know, I'm inclined to martial arts and stuff like that. So I would probably go with a more leaner character. Just in general.
So that's going to be more towards your elves, your humans, your genasi, tieflings, which are basically demonic-looking characters.
Mm-hmm. You could also be a half-elf.
Tabaxis, cat folk, which are basically...
Not a cat person, more of a dog person myself. So can I pick a half-elf?
Yeah, you pick a half-elf. So basically, half-elf, you can either make it half-human, half-elf, and then you can pick whatever variation of elf you want. Or you can be like half whatever variation of elf plus half of something else, depending on what you think your parents would have gotten into, how freaky they got.
My parents are pretty freaky. I mean, I can say that because, I mean, look at me. My dad was like, yes. The chocolate woman looks nice today.
So, in this case, there's different types of elves. Do you want like a dark elf, or like a high elf, a woodland elf? They even have aquatic elf now.
Yeah, sea elves.
Well, I'm Pisces, so can I go with aquatic elf?
Yeah, you can do. So you'd be sea elf, or I think that's what they're called, sea elves.
Aquatic.
So my dad got it on with a mermaid elf.
Yep.
Is that basically what it is?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I have to have like the fin thing, right? I got legs.
It depends on how you want. No, you would definitely. You can have.
Because I don't want to be carted around this whole party. It's like he has to push him in a cart over water. It's gonna be great when we get to the water. We're in the desert.
Are we at a hill yet? Because I'm gonna push him off. Are we in the hill yet?
The first cliff, you're like, yeah.
There isn't a single slip and slide within 10 miles. This is bullshit.
So this is important for the character build, though. Is like choosing now that we agree that this sounds like a good build for a race. Is like knowing what extra traits you're gonna get, because you actually do get bonuses.
All right.
So now
let me write some of this down. So what kind of bonuses do I get as a half elf?
As a aquatic half elf, you get a +2 to your charisma, +1 to 2 other ability scores. So you get to choose where those that +1 goes, and then you also get dark vision, fey ancestry, and skill versatility, which we can go into that in a little bit, because that will be coming down the line when you're getting more in depth with your character build. Now your dark vision is up to 60 feet. And then Fey Ancestry, you have the advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. You do naturally speak certain languages. You get to speak Common, of course. For layman's, that's like English. American English.
Yeah. Then you get Elvish as your secondary,
and then
when
you
it comes to it, you get to choose one. Yeah. So we'll get to the languages when we start fleshing out your build overall.
Sweet.
Yeah, and you do get a swimming speed of 30. So you actually
that boy?
A lot of times swimming speed is what, halved?
In water, yeah.
In water, you don't get handicapped as much as anybody else.
What are you picking over there, Jay?
Mind your business. Mind your business.
You know what? We'll find out anyways.
Pretty much.
So it's important to know that that some of your races are going to come with perks.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yes.
And some actually come with downfalls too. Like in my instance, my first character was a half drow elf, which drows are darker elves and typically hated and or feared above ground. So me going into places was always an issue, and I had to try and either work my way out of it or talk my way out of it. So some characters, some races do come with downfall, especially depending on where your campaign setting is at.
Gotcha. All right.
Are we going to go on Jay's build, or are we going to?
He said, "Mind your business." That's why I tried to jump over there. He said, "Mind your business."
We mind it. Okay, so we'll focus on Damian for now.
All right.
Yeah.
So where do on this character sheet? Do I add that stuff on here now?
So you'll see
His abilities aren't going to be on the left hand side.
Yeah.
I see the dexterity and all that stuff, strength. So do I put the pluses here?
So other proficiencies in languages you'll put here.
Okay.
And then once we start fleshing out, that's where we'll start building out this. So these you're stacked as
So
far
just
as,
hold on to them for now. Don't
Yeah.
really do that too much. All right. But
Yeah.
just so y'all see, they talk about that. Right there. Right there.
So that'll all get fleshed out once you actually pick what class you want, and that's where you can be barbarian, you can be wizard, you can multi-class depending on what level you're starting off with in the campaign. For this instance, we're going to start as a flush level 1 character.
Okay.
So we're going to pick one class with it. So before we actually get to your class, we're going to start first with your racial traits. So you get ability score increases, which you can apply now. So ability scores are going to be any of these. There's going to be Constitution, which is basically going to be your health, as well as just kind of generally how much damage you can take. Dexterity is going to be how agile you are. Intelligent will allow you to investigate and perceive more often and a little bit easier. Your strength, exactly what it is going to be your movement speed. It's going to help out with your anything that if you're trying to physically do something. And then your wisdom is basically going to be just how, I guess, just generally wise you are of not doing dumb shit.
No, I think it helps with magic.
Yeah, to an extent. In some classes. Some classes use wisdom, so different classes will use different
Intelligence
stuff.
over wisdom and so on.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So
And charisma is
charisma is going to be based
how
off
charming
of,
you are. Really.
Yeah.
how charming am I? I'm pretty charming. And I already got a +2 charisma, so that's
Yep.
already. So I'm already starting off charming. This guy is already my kind of type. He's my type.
Before we actually assign any of these numbers, out of this list minus charisma, which one would you want to have an additional +1 to before you even get to your actual build?
Elves are moderately strong.
I mean, they're as strong as any human. They're not overly strong by any
Right.
chance. So, I mean, you could if you want to add to that, or
I don't know why, but all of a sudden when we start talking, I guess it's the mug. So now I'm thinking barbarian, and I'm like, so for some reason this sexy elf. I'm kind of building Aquaman right now. Now I'm realizing. I'm like, holy crap! Wait, hold on. I got like this guy.
That's actually a thing that happens. A lot of people that will play D&D, they'll play with the mindset this is their end goal to get to build. And there are people that will build characters based off like Marvel.
and then you'll
DC
be surprised
characters.
how left field it goes. So you're like, I want to build
Super
Aquaman,
fast.
and then you turn into like Aqualad mixed with Green Arrow.
Well, my thing is the only reason why I was thinking of barbarian because I was like, all right, cool. I like a barbarian like character, and I want someone who could wield magic because I don't want him to be so freaking off the wall, right? So elf. So barbarian's not a person. It's a
class.
It's a class.
It's basically a job type.
So maybe the dude, my dad, was a barbarian or something like that. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe this dude got hooked up with water
a
elf.
sea elf. So you got
sea elf, and a sea elf doesn't really. What are they? They don't got like flippers or anything. They're not mermaids. That's a completely different kind of species.
They're elven folks.
They're
Think
elven.
of
But they live at sea.
correct. Think
Like
of
badass
think
fishermen.
of the Atlanteans in Aquaman.
Do they breathe underwater?
They do have a breath underwater. So all characters have an idea of how well they can hold their breath, and then those ones can actually, to an extent, breathe underwater.
To like a lesser extent. They're not quite.
They're not like you can't just sit
merfolk.
there. You still have a limit.
So then I'm gonna add 1 point to strength.
So I would say put it here now, so we know.
Yeah.
Just put +1 and then put strength next to it, so that way when we start filling this out, we'll know what gets added onto it.
And,
Right, so
and the
strength.
reason that he's saying doing it there also is because he hasn't even gotten to classes. So depending
that's
on your
gonna change the
class,
whole thing.
you can switch and move them around because you're in the development stage right now.
Gotcha. All right. So strength, and then I want to be able to like.
So if you want to be able to be proficient at magic, it depends. So there's different magic classes. You have your standard wizard, which is going to be based more off of your intelligence for spells. A sorcerer, which has innate magic based on a bloodline or some other aspect. And they're typically going to use charisma generally for their subclass. Then there's warlocks who basically make a pact with someone else, and they get their magic from a baby daddy or a sugar daddy. daddy, and they use their charisma as well for spell casting. And then you have like paladins and clerics, who I believe use their wisdom modifier to cast spells. It depends on what type of magic you want to go with. Do you want to be more of a bookworm? Do you want to have a sugar daddy that gives you powers? Do you want to have innate magic that comes from a bloodline or some other means already in you? Or would you rather get it from some type of pantheon?
There's also like characters like rangers and whatnot that.
Rangers do have magic as well. It comes from a similar type of either general study or pantheon, but they use most of their intelligence to do it as well.
So, I'm thinking there may have been something on my mom's side.
Maybe some type of sea deity that she worshipped, and maybe she was a cleric of it, and her innate magic.
You know, in IRL, you know, there's some, you know, the Caribbean has some deities that rise from the sea. So I was like, all right, well, what if, and that would be wisdom or something that would call upon the sea deity? Would that be more charisma? Because I already got charisma.
So if you do, well, it depends. So right now,
does like a wizard.
If it was a wizard, that's more book smart. So we would do intelligent. If he's wanting something more innate, that's either going to be a sorcerer or you can be a warlock if you want to be able to just have it. So like you've made a pact, or your mother may have made a pact that carried over to you, and now you have this deity that
like life insurance,
basically.
So, yeah, okay.
So if you did that, either one of those two are going to go off of charisma. So you're going to want to do your, I would probably say either your con or your dex.
All right, I'm going to add it right now. I like being mobile. I like being agile. So I'm going to add it to my dexterity.
Okay. Now the next part is this where you're going to kind of get some, kind of flesh out what class you would eventually kind of go towards as well. So we're going to choose 2 types of skills that you would like to be pretty good at. These are your skills here. You have acrobatics, which basically exactly how it sounds. If you need to flip or do something, you can do that.
Go like a butterfly, flip like a bee.
Exactly.
Got it.
Then you have animal handling if you want to try and just befriend every animal that comes along. Arcana is going to be the knowledge of magic. Athletics, which is basically how great of being an athlete you are. Deception, history, being able to recall things of the past. Insight is pretty useful as well. Insight is being able to gauge another person's either motives or just general like feel of them. Intimidation, investigation, medicine, how well you could possibly be a doctor, your understanding of nature, which is going to be based on like plant life and things of that sort that can help you out. Perception, performance, if you want to be someone that acts things out or tries to swoon someone with music and things like that. Persuasion, just talking your way out of stuff. If you want to be good at religion, sleight of hand, which is going to be anything from stealing to trying to get things without people noticing. If you want to be decent at stealth, or survival, which is going to be if you were dropped in the middle of the woods, you would know how to survive based on what berries to eat compared to what not to eat. So you're going to choose 2 of those that you would think would benefit you regardless of what class you might pick.
Well, since I added dexterity, I'm thinking that acrobatics and dexterity would kind of benefit each other.
For sure.
So I'm going to do acrobatics. And I already got charisma. See, my thing is that since I've already kind of felt that my dad's a barbarian, you know how most characters are like, I'm not going to be anything like my dad. So I'm like, maybe I might not, maybe he might be like, I'm going to be more about I'm going to be more smart. I'm going to be smarter than him. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So that's either going to be insight or perception.
Yeah. So
Perception is surveying the land. Insight is surveying people.
Correct. Basically getting to know your people compared to your surroundings overall.
Yeah, but my mom, you know, she was like really cool with seeing things and just picking up shit and being like, you know, she has sharp eyes. So and I already got a 60 plus in dark vision. So you know what, I'm gonna do perception. I want to know. I want to be able to see things coming and be able to out the way.
And then the last thing we'll choose before we actually move on to your race is going to be the additional language you get. Now I'll go over the list. Whichever one kind of sounds the best overall is just kind of pick. So Abyssal, Celestial.
Abyssal is like what? Like speaking to like angels and ghosts and shit?
So Abyssal gonna be more like underworld type shit. Like
okay.
More like a demonic type thing.
Demonic. Speaking of demons, all right, cool.
Then you have Celestial, which is the other side, which is your angels and things like that.
Don't really run into those that many times. I'm just thinking like just in the history of me ever hearing anybody about this stuff, they're like, I ran into an angel. Most likely like, I ran into like 16 demons. I've watched Supernatural a lot. They don't run into a whole lot of angels.
Nah, they do run into are kind of dicks.
Yeah, you might as well call them demons. So, all right, moving on.
Next up, we have Dale Kier. Do not know what language that is. That sounds interesting.
Sounds like someone that no one wants to talk.
Deep speech is going to be anything of like other planar beings. They have like the old, basically like that old type speech. Think of the new God of War and the Serpent of the World. How that language is like a dead language, kind of like that.
Gotcha. All right.
Then you have Draconic, which is the language of dragons. You have Dwarvish, giant, gith, which are basically moon elves or moon goblins, one of those. You have gnomish, then you have goblin, halfling, infernal, which is another type of demon-esque language. The crawl, which I believe is an underwater language.
Infernal sounds like the difference between like Portuguese and Spanish. It's like it sounds like they almost speak in the same language, but not quite the same.
Yeah, you'll catch a word or two, and that's about it.
You get it's not another word. Nope, wrong meaning. I don't understand what that is. Then you have Leonin, which is basically like cat people language. Luxodon, which is elephant folk. Marquesian, I don't know what folk that is. Minotaur, Naush, Orc, Primordial, which is going to be like things of the primordial titans and things like that. The Quarry, the Redrun, Sylvan, which is a type of Elvish, I believe. Undercommon, which is the language of the world basically underneath the general world.
Okay.
Like that's where my drow came from. They was from the Underdark, which is Undercommon. You have a Vadalkin and then Zemnian, which I don't know what those go to, but those are the list of languages.
Sounds like a made-up language. Okay, so considering that I already speak Common and Elvish, I feel like I've got like English and Spanish down. Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I guess Mandarin would be the next thing to learn, something that a lot of people speak, and there's tends to be a lot of demons and dragons in this place. It's either going to be the demon language or the dragon language. Although I do find that probably might run into a lot of orcs and stuff like that. But I don't know if I really want to negotiate with a bunch of orcs. Maybe, like, am I a negotiating with an orc kind of guy?
Nah. Time to tell.
If I was coming up, I'd think that I'd be really into the kind of shit that I was coming up with. That I was into some dark shit coming up. I was gothic shit. So I'm going to be like, I probably would have learned demon just because. So I'm going to learn which demon number 1 and demon number 2 are the two languages.
Abyssal or infernal. So infernal
can you refer to a friend and be like, yo, what would you do? Abyssal or infernal? Can I roll for this?
Infernal is, just to give you a gauge, infernal is more directly tied to the 9 levels of hell. Abyssal is more of the abyss in between planes. So whatever resides in there may be demonic, maybe a completely other entity entirely.
Like a ghost or like a wraith or something of that nature?
Something along those lines, plus extra other shit. Like there's a whole other list of
Alright, so the Mandarin to me sounds like the Abyssal. Like I should speak Abyssal because I might be able to speak to a bunch of dead shit. Or dark shit. So I'm going to go with Abyssal.
Cool. So mark that down. Now we get to front of some of the fun shit.
I'm just making this up as I go. I'm about to
It works. That's part of the list.
That's all it is. We spend just come up with some shit that you think is gonna sound cool, and that may work. And then when you get into the real world,
I just made myself that emo elf who was like, I don't like my dad, and I just want to learn to speak the dark language. I feel like I was raised watching The Crow over and over and over.
I mean, that was like us. Well, the first night we ever did it, we took like 4 hours to build our characters with all of us trying to sit here and read, figure out what is what. And at one point, I was like, my character spoke 7 languages, and I was the dumbest fucking character of the entire group. But I spoke
and I was a Dragon Boy. That was the next dumbest motherfucker.
I only spoke like 2 languages, and I was like, I got this, man.
He didn't speak 7 languages. He just knew how to say, "Where's the bathroom? Give me food," and how do you get laid in 7 different languages.
That's all you need. That's it. That's the basics. So let's get back to Damian's fun part. This is where we get to pick your class overall as far as what kind of direction we're going to take. So I'll kind of go over in general the different classes to give you an idea of it. So starting off, we have the Artificer, which are masters of invention. Artificers use ingenuity and magic to unlock extraordinary capabilities in objects. You're basically just a crazy good craftsman. You have Barbarians, which are a fierce warrior of primitive background who can enter battle rage. My bad. You have the Bard, which is an inspiring musician whose power echoes through music of creation. Now you have the Blood Hunter, which is a fanatical slayer that embraces dark knowledge to destroy evil. Kind of sounds like the route you're going a little bit, because they do both magic and melee. You have your Cleric, which is a priestly champion who wields divine magic in service of a higher power. A Druid, which is a priest of the old faith, wielding the powers of nature and adopting animal forms. The Standard Fighter, which is a master of martial combat, skilled with a variety of weapons and armor. The Monk, which is a master of martial arts, harnessing the power of the body in pursuit of physical and spiritual perfection. The Paladin, which is just a holy warrior bound to a sacred oath. The Ranger, who is a warrior who combats threats on the edges of civilizations. The Rogue, who is a scoundrel who uses stealth and trickery to overcome obstacles and enemies. The sorcerer, who is a spellcaster who draws on inherent magic from a gift or bloodline. The warlock, which is a wielder of magic that is derived from a bargain with an extraplanar entity. And lastly, you have the wizard, a scholarly magic user capable of manipulating the structures of reality.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be a soul magic wielder, so let's eliminate the wizard, the sorcerer. I'm not going to be.
Doesn't sound like you're going to be a paladin or a cleric. Really,
yeah, this not going to be too religious. Mm-hmm. I mean, like even though I mentioned, there might be something in my bloodline. Personally, I'm like that thing might be even kind of dormant until like a last minute save or something. You know what I mean? So I don't even think I'm really like all that religious. Ranger sounds cool. Like the guy who goes out there and fights on the frontiers. Monk, I appealed to a monk because I'm a martial arts background, so that feels good to me. And standard warrior just sounds like boring. I'm like I'm more complicated than a warrior. Rogue, I'm really not that dishonest. I might persuade people to do stuff, different things. I'm kind of building it on this idea that most Pisces are good people. Now someone's going to be in the comments and be like, Hitler was a Pisces. I'm like, no, he wasn't. We extradited him real quick. He wasn't Pisces.
We don't claim him no more.
Yeah, we don't claim him. So what was that one that you said that sounded like it might be me?
Blood Hunter.
Blood Hunter.
Mm-hmm. So you basically you're a slayer of creatures or whatever you choose to slay, but you basically use dark knowledge to destroy anything that you find evil. So that could be in the form of basically weapons that you imbue with dark magic at a price that you pay with your blood. You could use a combination of range and melee weapons with magic as well that also, again, is derived from blood, and different aspects can be controlled. So the class you choose now, once you hit different levels, will unlock subclasses that you can then improve and take in different directions again.
As you play along, you can add additional classes as you level up.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, as a fan of Supernatural and Sam and Dean, and I know they've done some pretty shady stuff to for the better good, I'm gonna go with the Blood Hunter.
Okay.
That guy sounds cool.
So what you get here overall, so as far as your armor, you can use either light armor, medium armor, and shields. So you can challenge that'll change your armor class depending on how hard or easy it is for you to get hit by something. As far as weapons go, you can use simple weapons or martial weapons. So any type of sword, staves, simple ranged weapons like a bow or a crossbow. You do automatically get a set of tools, which is an alchemist supplies. So you can use that to make potions, poisons, however you want to use that. And then you again get to choose 3 additional skills from your skill slot now.
Oh, so I get 3 more?
Yep, so we'll go into that. So what you have first off is your first ability at starting at level 1 is called Hunter's Bane. So beginning at first level, you have survived the Hunter's Bane, a dangerous, long-guarded ritual that alters your life's blood forever, binding you to the darkness and honing your senses against it.
Well, damn, I wish you'd have told me that before I picked my damn class. I'm bound to the darkness? Damn it! Okay, all right.
This is what you wanted.
All right, yeah, I'm bound. So say that again. I'm bound to the darkness.
I'll say. So beginning at first level, you have survived the Hunter's Bane, a dangerous, long-guarded ritual that alters your lifeblood, forever binding you to the darkness and honing your senses against it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. You have advantage on wisdom, survival checks to track fae, fiends, or undead, as well as an intelligence ability checks to recall information about them.
So basically, you can find those 3 groups a lot easier, and if anyone ever asks you a question about it, you're able to pull up knowledge of them easier as well. They're part
of
the
Google
ritual.
it too, right?
You basically have Google in your head about it. So what's cool is the Hunter's Bane also empowers your body to control and shape hemocraft magic using your own blood and life essence to fuel your abilities. Basically, you just use your blood to spellcast and do what you want to do, and some cases force your will upon other creatures. I will say, Adon is probably the funniest blood hunter yet, because he tried his blood hunter abilities against the bear, realized that he sucked at being a blood hunter, tried to run, and got struck down in the back by the bear, and got saved by a farmer and some guards.
I thought you would have blood hunted the bear to make it like, I don't know, go screw my partner.
Go
ban him. You shouldn't get raped by a bear, dude.
The gods of dice do not always work with you, and they typically do not work with me.
I hate you.
They do. The cards and dice. I cannot do well with
you. Can't win.
So I could, in theory, bend a bear's will to rape one of my party members if they're pissing me off.
Yep. If you're strong enough, yeah.
Yeah, you could, yep.
Yeah.
Can you roll high enough?
And vice versa. If you don't roll well with the dice, you just end up
getting banged by the bear.
I was
roll the dice.
I was throwing some jabs.
He was trying to punch the bear. gotta put the
So
shit.
you were boxing the bear.
I was boxing the shit out.
Hey, he saw Tekken. He was like, "It happens."
I was trying to like force, like hold the bear, and I'm like, "This ain't working. This ain't working."
He tried to channel his inner monk, and he was like, "I'm not a monk anymore." I was like, "No, you're not." Bear swings. Stoosh.
Well, like you can only use blood magic certain spells you can only use a certain amount of time. But anyways,
Could blood magic be used also to heal?
In some cases, depending on your subclass that you're shooting, yes.
Okay.
And there's other blood magics that allow you to, instead of healing or aiding benefits, you can actually curse other items or creatures and cause them to fail or take harmful effects.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
So depending on what you end up choosing. So
he does get to choose a curse right now, being level 1.
So when we get there, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing we're gonna do here is now we'll go through and we'll choose those 3 skills. So 3 of these skills again, you get to add something additional to it.
All right, so I have acrobatics and perception already.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I'm gonna.
Even though you have stuff already selected, you can add it on top of that.
Yep.
All right, cool. So now I'm a blood magic motherfucker. So I'm gonna need some.
So Arcana might be a good one because you are dealing with magic in general.
Yeah, I'm
So
thinking.
having knowledge on that.
I was trying to figure out which one. I couldn't remember Arcana, but I was trying to figure out like which one was thing. Oh, and this thing kind of lets you know next to it, like Arcana plus intelligence is a good thing.
So it lets you know based on whenever we roll your actual stats, it lets you know what stats these will get amped off of as well.
Sweet. Definitely let's get Arcana in there.
Okay. So now we can choose from athletics, history, insight, investigation, religion, or survival as your next one.
I'm thinking insight, right? I'm gonna need to know what people are thinking if I'm gonna manipulate them. So I'm gonna go with insight on that one.
Mm-hmm. And then so now we have 5 more you can do. So it goes back to athletics, history, investigation, religion, or survival.
So I have acrobatics, perception, Arcana, insight, and I get one more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've already got kind of like I'm pretty smart right now. I'm gonna go into my survival mode. I'm thinking that I need to be able to like be smart about my surroundings too, because I watched Naked and Afraid. I know how to start a fire. I know how to build a lean-to. I watched a lot of Naked and Afraid.
I have to. I can't do it without shoes.
All right. So now we get into some more fun. Now we get to pick the actual blood curse you start off with.
Okay.
So this one's kind of a long list, so we'll go through each one. We'll recap if you need them before you make your choice.
All right.
So the first curse is the blood curse of the anxious. So as a bonus action, you can magnify the adrenaline in the body of a creature within 30 feet of you, making them susceptible to forceful influence. Until the end of your turn, all creatures have advantage on charisma checks directed at the target. You can curse an item to just be so amped up that it suddenly starts failing, or people are able to press on it a little bit easier.
As well as intimidation checks.
Mm-hmm. And then you can amplify that. So the next wisdom saving throw the target makes before the curse ends has this advantage. Once you've amplified this blood curse, you must finish a long rest before you can amplify it again. So once you curse something, if you want to make their heart race even faster, to mess with them more, you can do that, but only one time until you go to bed for that night. And the next day you can start the process again. So that's the blood curse of the anxious.
Mm-hmm. Next one is blood curse of binding. So as a bonus action, you can attempt to bind a creature you can see within 30 feet of you that is no more than one size larger than you. The target must succeed a strength saving throw or have their speed be reduced to 0. They can't use reaction until the end of the next turn. Amplifying, this curse lasts 1 minute and can affect a creature regardless of their size. At the end of each of its turns, the cursed creature can make another strength saving throw. On success, this curse ends. So basically, if you're successful with it, they're stuck until like the next go around, but you can amplify it so it doesn't matter their size, and then they're really stuck until they can actually get themselves out.
And what's also important to know, so the reason why it has that last for 1 minute with the amplify, what that means, generally if you just use that curse on a creature, you have to hold concentration on that, which means while you're doing that, you cannot try and cast another spell. You can still attack, but if you get hit, you have to then roll higher than the amount of damage you took halved in order to hold concentration to keep it going. Otherwise, it falls off. Amplify lets you let control of concentration, and it just stays for 1 minute, which 1 minute in battle time is like 10 rounds. So it holds for a pretty decent time.
Yeah.
So the next blood curse is the blood curse of bloated agony.
You would laugh at that.
Jay's like, I've had that so many times.
I've had that all my life.
I thought I was having that now. I thought someone blood cursed my ass.
So as a bonus action, you curse a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you to painfully swell until the end of your next turn. For the duration of this curse, the creature has disadvantage on strength and dexterity ability checks and suffers 1d8 necrotic damage if it takes more than one melee or range attack during its turn.
It's like being hit while you got gas.
Basically, so you take extra damage on top of the normal weapon.
Because you're going to shit yourself. That's why.
You got to clench so hard during getting hit that is giving you so much pain.
Oh, that just sounds like a fun curse. Go ahead.
And then to amplify it, it's same as previous one. It lasts for 1 minute, so you don't have to worry about holding concentration on it. And then at the end of each of its turn, the creature can attempt to make a Constitution saving throw to end the curse. If it succeeds. If not, it stays on still until that minute is up or until it
Some of these blood curses are just fun.
That one, I haven't looked at the blood curses. That one sounds funny as shit because I can be like, all right, I'm first in the turn. Have a man have gas. I'm like, have them, boys.
So
depending on where you stab them, I guess.
No, you want all blunt damage on that one.
The
to make it only go one direction out.
The next two curses are really prerequisite only at level 15, so I'm going to suggest we skip those for now.
Gotcha. Yep.
Because they're not going to be relevant for you.
So the blood of the corrosion and the exorcist. So we'll start at blood curse of exposure.
So blood curse of exposure, when a creature you can see within 30 feet is hit by an attack or spell, you can use your reaction to temporarily weaken their resilience against it. Until the end of the turn, the target loses resistance to the damage types of the triggering attack or spell. The amplify, the target instead loses invulnerability to the damage types of the triggering attack or spells, having resistance to them until the end of the turn. So there are some creatures that are just naturally immune to certain abilities, or they have a natural resistance, like how you're being half elf.
Your resistance to charm and things that put you to sleep. So if you were fighting a blood hunter that had a caster that loved to put people to sleep, the blood hunter could weaken your resistances, and then that other ability can now put you to sleep. Gotcha. So that one's more of a support, aggro, kiting kind of mechanism.
Right. So if I have someone on my team who's really good with lightning and then going up against someone who's really resistant against lightning, I can be like, yeah, I'm going to try to knock that lightning resistance down.
Exactly.
And that way...
Go ahead and light them up. Light them up, Jay.
Exactly. And we've had that situation and no one to assist. So it can be if you're going to be in a party and you know who's in your party and what they can do.
Well, I don't know who's in my party because he's been keeping it secret the entire time.
This is true.
I don't know the man.
I was letting him get you to feel what you will like, and then I'll come in because I'm pretty much done with mine.
Damn.
He already knew what he wanted.
Actually I didn't. I just went. Okay, and I went down the rabbit hole.
Beyond?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one then is going
now,
to
are we doing 1 or 2 classes?
Right now you're level 1. If you want a multi-class later, you can as long as you meet the prereqs for it.
I mean, you can multi-class in level 1.
You have to
go to level 2.
Level 2.
Based on the multi-class, you have a level in both classes.
According to his world, everyone's starting at level 1.
Not necessarily, because I've done multi-classes at level 1. Both classes, yes.
Each class is level 1. Which means you have to be a level 2 as a whole.
In Brent's campaigns, I've been multi-class at level 1.
We started at level 3.
Shut up. We did.
He doesn't. Yeah, you don't understand. He doesn't get how levels work.
He's like, worst part is he's like, I started at level 1. He's like, Brent's like, he screwed you, man.
Probably.
Everyone else started at 3. He's like, yeah, go ahead, be a level 1, bro.
dumb baby.
Anyway, I'm still good.
What's your intelligence stats again?
Actually, the character that I picked is actually smart.
You're gonna ruin that character. Alright, let's see. The next one is gonna be, man, I didn't realize how many curses there were. God damn, this guy has a lot of works on. Alright.
Well, we can skip a few because the couple down is gonna be like 18.
More prereqs.
Yeah.
So the next one is the blood curse of the eyeless. When a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, you can use your reaction to roll 1 Hemocraft die and subtract the number rolled from the creature's attack roll. You can choose to use this feature after the creature's roll, but before the DM determines whether the attack roll succeeds. The creature is immune if it is immune to blindness. So basically what that means, if I'm a creature attacking Jay, and his armor class is 15, and I roll a 18 to hit him, before I say, cool, it hits, you can be like, psych, that bitch gets bloods in his eyes. And all of a sudden, you roll a dice, and whatever that dice roll is, I subtract that from my attack roll. So what would have been an 18 could now turn into a 12, and now I miss him, and I got blood in my eyes, and I have disadvantage on seeing for the next round.
Okay.
But if a creature's already blind, doesn't work.
Right. Damn blind monks.
Mm-hmm. And then the Amplify, same thing. You just kind of apply this curse to all the creatures' attack rolls to the end of turn. So if it has a multi-attack, all of its attacks are now have that minus whatever effect to it. If you just use a regular one, because you've already used your Amplify for the day, then even if it has a multi-attack, the first one will have that, but the other two can still land, and you wouldn't be able to do that again necessarily.
True. All right, so you also have Blood Curse of the Fallen Puppet.
Well, that sounds like a bloodbender. God damn.
When a creature you can see within 30 feet, so all these are basically in 30 feet, drops to 0 points, you can use your reaction to give that creature a final act of aggression. That creature immediately makes a single weapon attack against a target of your choice within its attack range. For Amplify, you can first move the cursed creature up to half their speed and grant a bonus to the cursed creature's attack roll equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of +1.
Well, necromancy.
Exactly.
Without being necromancy, so technically he would be hated.
Necromantic.
So. Yeah, I give him extra juice. It's just like weaken that Bernie's in basically.
Yeah, he just gives it like a little flair. like and you're like, what was that?
He's not dead. He's still kicking.
So is this for an enemy or for a foe? For an ally.
So you can use this for an ally or a foe. It's just it's there once they hit.
So
0,
as he's going down, I can give him a final blow. Be like, go ahead. He only got like 1 hit point left. Take him out.
Yep.
I got you. Good.
Go for the kneecaps.
Or you can use it if it's an enemy and there's multiple of them. You can use it as a way to like do a multi attack, like a surprise attack potentially. We're almost done with these. There's just 2 more.
That one actually sounds good. So that one's the 18. Next one. All right.
He's looking forward to that one.
That one's kind of like I'm gonna make.
Don't get me wrong, but little necromancy, that's pretty cool. It's either that or the gas. Those are the 2 right now that are like the lead.
The gas one's up high.
It's either going to get the farts or I'm going to give you the final blow. I haven't quite sure which one I'm going to have most fun with.
Let's see, we got what, 2 more?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, all the jokes that happen, be like, so you study to be a blood hunter, and the only thing you learn how to do is give the guy gas? I'm like, dude.
That's a major inconvenience for a guy. Have you ever had to drive home 30 minutes and the next thing you know, you got to take shit? There ain't no gas station nearby.
It's the worst shark.
And there's traffic on a bumpy road.
Nothing's worse than when you get really, really bloated and then you drink like a lot of soda to try and belch it out and you can't, and then you get even more bloated and you just feel like you're incapacitated.
Everyone's had that one pain where they couldn't sit up. Like,
I was eating a food contest.
You gotta lift up thinking it's gonna help, but it really gives it more space.
So, like I said, between the necromancy and the gas, let's hear these last 2.
So, Blood Curse of the Marked. As a bonus action, you can mark a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. Until the end of your turn, whenever you deal right damage to the target. So, right, we'll get into that as far as like your weapons. You'll be able to kind of channel certain rights into them. So, either to do radiant, holy damage or necrotic damage overall. So whenever you deal right damage to the target, you roll an additional Hemocraft die of right damage. And then if you amplify it, the next attack roll you make against the target before the end of your turn has advantage. So you basically get an extra chance of either critting it or just generally hitting it and still applying those bonuses.
So being that I'm not very religious, would I have weapons?
Absolutely. So basically,
so I can wield a religious weapon and still not be very religious.
So it doesn't have to be a religious weapon. A rite just means any type of ritual that you would do in order to endow your weapon with that energy that you choose. So in one case, you can, if you have a sword, in order to go ahead and channel, let's say you want necrotic or divine energy in it, you can basically sacrifice your own blood, basically cut yourself, putting the blood on it. That's your ritual if you choose it to be. And now, for the duration, your weapon has either necrotic or radiant damage when you attack with it. So it's not anything directly
this
religious.
This gonna look so cool because he's gonna have like all these like nicks and cuts on all this. Like he's gonna look kind of like Killmonger in a sense. Cause he's gonna have all these like little nicks and cuts all over himself from all these fucking like things that he's had to do. All right, cool.
Like Killmonger with all
you can choose
weapons.
what your ritual is too. So you can have it however you want. But as long as you do that ritual before you attack, you basically activate that.
All right, cool. All right, what else we got?
All right, so the last one is Blood Curse of the Muddled Mind. As a bonus action, you can curse a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you that is concentrating on a spell. That creature has disadvantage on the next Constitution saving throw. It must make to maintain concentration before the end of your next turn. Cursed creature for the Amplify, the cursed creature has disadvantage on all Constitution saving throws made to maintain concentration spells until the end. So this is another
good against
like
sorcerers and stuff like that. Yeah,
good against any kind of spellcaster that needs to maintain concentration on things. It also works well against barbarians, where I believe in certain aspects they have to concentrate on their rage or a subclass variation of their rage. So it's more of less of a frontline ability and more so of a support.
Focus.
Yeah, you're basically support, but then you can run in there with your weapons and however you want to do it. But that one's more just kind of like passive aggressive, like you're not gonna be able to do your spells for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm not very passive aggressive when it comes to certain things. All right, so I'm definitely still down to the gas and or
the ritual weapon.
The ritual weapon, the gas, the ritual weapon, and the necromancy.
So that one to the burning. Yep.
So the fallen puppet, the marked, or the bloated. Technically, those all sound cool.
I think I personally would like the puppet one.
None of them would have helped me against the.
Can you imagine a group of goblins and then they're like, "Our leader's fallen." I was like, "Guess what? He's also betrayed you. Bitch, slap him!"
Trust me.
On the way down, the
I had like 5 scenarios in which that weekend at Bernie's would be fucking hilarious. I don't even want him to attack. I just want him to go in and steal the other guy's like drink, and then just fucking grab his drink and throw it in his face and spit on him.
It's only for
that's
one
his final
action.
move. That's
you should know. It's only for one action, so it depends.
Yeah, well, like I said, I can think of one. I can think of
one action.
He kicks him in the balls.
That works.
It doesn't. It takes 1 hit point, maybe max.
It's super effective.
He's gonna feel the effects
spits
of that
in his face.
But then it's like Jay playing is like the armor class is 20. And he's like, oh.
Or not even. He rolls a 1 on the fucking attack.
He kicks in the balls and the leg snaps.
What kind of balls you got?
Looking like Deadpool punching him. That's his name in the
Colossus. Yeah.
Okay. That stuff happens to us.
So here's the thing. My character's already very cool so far, so I'm either gonna go with So I think the mark is too cool. Like I need to give him something that's like, yeah, dude.
It's like I gotta leave him out a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So I gotta give him something. So it's either gonna be the bloated or the puppet, and I think I can have fun with the puppet because I don't think I'd use the puppet for like an actual blow. I might use the puppet for some bullshit. So I'm gonna use the puppet because I have a dark sense of humor, and my character's probably gonna have a dark sense of humor. So I'm going with the puppet.
Okay, so I got puppet mark. Now we're gonna go and roll for your stats. All right. Mm-hmm. So these are your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major stats. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take these 4 dice. We're gonna roll for each one of these 6. You're gonna roll the 4. You line them up. So let's say in this case you got a 1, 4, 6, and 3. So you would take the 3 highest, add those together, and that's your first number. We'll do that 5 more times. Once you have all your numbers, then we'll choose where to actually put them for your benefits.
Question. As the person that will be hosting as a DM, do you want him to roll for his HP or do you want him to just max out?
We can do the standard because I don't want anyone to be below. Because the only thing with rolling for HP, you can end up really lower than what you should be. So rather than just have full health overall.
Here goes, guys. My first roll. I haven't rolled dice for D&D and
So make the first one good.
fucking time.
You gotta think that. You gotta roll good.
Over 2 centuries. Oh, 2 decades. Over 2 decades.
That has happened where we have got
Yeah.
that's not
Oh, that's not bad at all.
So
14.
14.
Yeah.
I've done 14 for the first one.
So you just got
Now
to
we're
do it
gonna-
5 more times.
This blue one.
It's throwing you off?
That blue one rolled low for me too.
Well, you
What,
take
a
that
1?
back.
So you got 9, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops, does that count? To get a mulligan?
They all go or not?
Yeah.
You got a 5?
A 4.
Yeah, how do you eliminate 3 ones?
So you got a 4.
I got a 4. Okay.
That's gonna be fun. Put that in a stat you never want to use.
Something I really suck at.
And this is what fun because sometimes you'll have a point bias system where there's so many points you can use.
You got an 8.
2, 4, 8. Yeah. Okay.
You want to switch out the dice?
It's okay. This is the fate that I've been given. Not everyone's born with as many skills as you, man.
His first roll was 2 foot. Is what it was.
That's what it was. That's what it was. 6. I'm a young guy. I must be a young buck. How many rolls do I get?
You got it
One more.
Jeez.
And so what we'll do is throw your last one. And then,
High spender. Come on, here we go.
there you go. You got 12.
That's better.
So here's what we'll do. Take the 4 and re-roll. So cross out the 4 for now, and you can re-roll. We'll
The
see.
game master has spoken. I get a do-over
Yeah,
on the
I
floor.
don't want you to be too low.
DMs can make a judgment call like that.
That's got the exact same thing.
No,
No,
you got
it's a
6.
5.
6, 7. Wait, no, 5.
You got
6.
6.
You have 4. Look, you got 2
All
more.
right. 2 more. Hey. I'll
That was
take
like me when my thing was
Yeah.
just 6. Remember, mine was like 6, 6, 11, 6, 4. And I was like,
All right, cool. So I got to now assign these.
to
those.
To these.
Do I write them over here yet, or I write them over here first?
What we can do is as you tell me, I'll input them, and that way, then once I have them here, I'll tell you what goes in the little bubbles.
Can I look at something real quick? So I got a +2 already here. Can I put a +2 here or something like that? What's these little circles for?
So those are gonna be your modifiers. So once you plug in your actual numbers, you'll get a standard modifier. If you already have proficiency, like in some of the ones that you chose that have strength, whatever, that'll get added onto there. So we'll do the big numbers first, and then I can tell you what to put in for your modifiers on your sheet.
So like if you roll like below 10, it'll like either give you a negative or a plus.
Like a 0 or a -1. Mm-hmm. Usually.
So looking at the fact that I added 1 here, added 1 there, have +2 there, I could either go like.
So here's what I'll tell you. So as far as your blood magic, the way it's gonna work, because of the curse you picked, it's gonna go off of your intelligence modifier. So whatever your intelligence is, you want that to be your number 1, your highest roll. And then from there, you can move on to your next highest as putting it as dexterity or strength or constitution. But whatever your primary one that you're going to be mainly attacking with is going to be your intelligence. And then since you'll probably have some melee weapons, I would probably say strength or dex. Because some ones do go by strength, but more often
I would put dex over strength on that one.
Most weapons are strength unless they're a finesse weapon.
I wasn't talking mainly for attacks because I was just thinking most of the times we do more dexterity checks than strength checks.
Depending on the trap. So and what I will say, so you don't have to worry about thinking as far as, if there's traps, I have to use dex. Well, the way I'll implement it is, let's say there's a trap and you guys do end up setting it off. I'll give you a moment to think of what your character would do. Depending on how you react to it will change on what type of save you have to do. So let's say you and him are you guys set up a trap. He's like, shit, I'm going to jump out the way. And you say, fuck it, I'm going to stand my ground. You'll have a dexterity save where you'll try and maybe a strength save to just bully your way through the trap, however it's going to be.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it playing like, okay, every trap's
No, I get that, but I'm looking at my character so far. He can wear light and medium or shield, so he's not very armored kind of dude. So he's gonna have to be able to move. I already have a +1 dexterity.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember you haven't chosen any
your
articles of armor or anything.
I get it. I'm looking at the cards that are in front of me. Yeah.
Damn it, Don.
It's
my bad.
It's one of these things. I mean, if you really think about it, so if just as a any character in the story, right? You trained on something or you learned something before you found out what kind of car you drove a car. You learned it on some other beat up car before you actually drove the car you bought. So like my skills are gonna have to come before the actual armor and stuff like that. So I gotta kind of these are things that kind of
let him
test
drive.
Yeah, so I'm creating. So I'm definitely going to put that 14 in the intelligence because I need that. So let's do that. I already got a +1 in dex and strength. So to be honest, between that 11 and 12 is really not going to make too much of a difference. So I'm going to do 12 in dex and 11 in strength. Should I be doing this, writing this down?
No, I'll go and add this in here
just to let you know, between the differences between 11 and 12, 10 and 11 will give you no modifier. 12 and 13 will give you a +1 to your modifiers.
But he already has plus that
he gets plus, so technically his strength will be a 12.
Yeah, exactly. So if you choose an 11, it'll jump it up to a 12. Yeah, that's why I'm saying
that's why he's
so he knows that's a reference.
So I got your intelligence as 14, strength at 11, and your dex at 12 right now, and then we just gotta assign the other 3.
So
Constitution does well as far as how much you can get hit. So that's going to affect your overall health points. So sometimes that'll give you bonus health points. It'll also allow you to maintain concentration if you ever do need it for one of your other spells that you may get.
So let's put the 8 in the Constitution. Well, hold on. I already started off with a +2 charisma. I don't want to lose charisma. What's my +2 charisma? So you're saying that if I have less than 10, I'm going to end up with a negative?
Modifier. So what that means,
would.
All the modifiers mean. So let's say you go to roll a persuasion check, which goes off your charisma. You're gonna roll, and whatever your modifier is. So let's say you're gonna roll a d20, and let's say you have a +3 charisma, you'll roll a d20, and then you'll add +3 to whatever you roll. That's all that really is for. If you have negative, it's also not the end of the world because if you get a nat 20, it's still gonna be nat 20. If you're at a 19, things like that. It'll just minus it by 1, but as you level up, you'll get opportunities to upgrade some of your current stat blocks and add more to them. So it'll change you. Like my guy started with negative intelligence, but I found out that a lot of my spells need intelligence. So as we leveled up, I kept just plugging into intelligence. So it zeroed myself out and then eventually got into the plus.
Got it.
Yeah. But it also depends on your play style. You may find that you may not use your charisma abilities as much as you thought you would, and you find that you're manhandling more things So you may just, all right, cool. I may not factor this into that and kind of change how it is. But you can always upgrade them at later levels.
So then, with that, I'll put the 8 in the Constitution, and then the 2 6s will go towards the what is it?
Wisdom and charisma will be left.
Wisdom and charisma. Luckily, they're both 6s, so it's not like I have to really.
Now, did you figure out you have a name in mind for this guy?
So he's an aquatic elf. Something aquatic needs to have something that feels slightly fluid.
Because we have some, there's a name generator that we can actually use here. I'm trying to see if there's any aquatic. Let's see, there's Nephilim names, pirate names.
Yeah, why are all the snacks away from the table? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. That's why I brought the bag over here.
Because we need as much cardio as we can get in our lives.
Oh, copy that.
Speak for yourself.
All right, so we can do. I found a sea creature name generator.
You're all damn big.
So you have like Kengush, Blorkak, Krishel, Hargrim.
He's in back.
Dalfiel, Mirix, Chasku, Keklix, Hobdis.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember none of those names.
Yeah,
I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah,
I'm from the
Oh, you had the name?
Yeah, he's at the name part now.
Well, I had a character before, which was Damzar. Also, I used a character before, not in any games, but these are characters that I've written, which is called De Luna, born by moonlight. I could have been born at night. And they called De Luna.
Like I made one character that I actually took a name from like Nordic.
He also made the other one Harvey Al Bergman.
I did.
Also, I'm thinking of, like, I'm from the Caribbean, so maybe Carib.
Okay.
I don't remember.
It's also a beer, which is cool because I'm also there's also a beer that I can associate with a beer. So if his name is Carib, yeah, this is someone calling out Carib.
Now we get to go over some other details. So as far as like your background, this will give you additional proficiencies in other areas, as well as different tools or like gaming sets. So there's a few you can choose from. You can choose from the Acolyte, the Spy, Criminal.
Dude, you're gonna have to explain. I do not know. Did he not know I'm a noob?
So, an acolyte is you spent your life in service of a temple to.
No, pass. Move on.
So you have the Criminal Spy, which you are an experienced criminal with a history of breaking the law. You spend a time among other criminals and still have contacts within the criminal underworld.
No, the only thugs I know is at this table. Move on.
Next up is the Folk Hero. Come from a humble social rank, but you are destined for so much more. Already the people of your home village regard you as their champion, and destiny calls you to stand against the tyrants and monsters that threaten the common folk everywhere.
The only problem with that is that sounds too much like me now.
Alright.
What are you laughing at?
Next one is the Haunted one. You are haunted by something so terrible that you dare not speak of it. You've tried to bury it and run away from it, but to no avail. Whether the thing is that haunts you, you can't be slain with a sword or banished with a spell, it might come to you as a shadow on the wall, a blood-curdling nightmare, a memory that refuses to die, or a demonic whisper in the dark. The burden has taken its toll, isolating you from most people and making you question your sanity. You must find a way to overcome it before it destroys you.
So PTSD.
And for this one, you had to choose 2 additional skills and 2 additional languages with this one.
2 additional skills and languages. The thing is that I'm thinking, just because right now I've already made a bond with darkness. I've already using my blood as part of my magic. I'm half aquatic elf, probably don't know my dad, bastard. You know what I mean? I probably did some dark shit and then was like, all right, I'm not gonna be that guy, but I'm already hunting some pretty dark stuff. So that sounds about right for me for this particular character that I'm building right now. I mean, I'll listen to the other ones just to hear them for educational purposes, but.
The other ones are probably not going to be as cool about footy, but we're going to go with them. So the next one is the Mycologist.
The what?
The Mycologist.
I don't do that in
You've
public
always
anymore.
been fascinated with spores and fungi.
Sports and fungus.
Spores.
Ooh, well,
that
seems interesting.
You get proficiencies with nature and medicine.
I'm kind of a mofungi. I've done mofungi.
You know what I'm saying? You can make your own mushrooms. How strong you want to make them?
I made some fun mushrooms.
I can make the whole party trip and go into battle.
I'll tell you this: I once killed a guy with a mushroom.
Oh man, okay, that's definitely fun. All right, what else we got?
Next we have the Noble.
You pass.
All right, yeah. No one likes the Noble, anyways. Next
Don't
is
get
the
me wrong.
Sage.
I'll play a noble one day. I'll be like, this is the most studious, snobbiest motherfucker.
No!
I'm not always talk like this.
You must die first, then.
My daddy said I can do what I want, so.
But Jay, I bought you your armor.
You'll die second.
So the next one is the Sage. You spent years learning the lore of the multiverse. You scoured manuscripts, studied scrolls, and listened to the greatest experts on the subjects that interest you. Your efforts
Nerd.
made you
No,
a
I'm joking.
master.
I like the sage, but nah, I don't think that's right for this character.
Okay. Let's see. Next one is soldier. War has been your life for as long as you care to remember. You trained as youth, studied the use of weapons and armor, learned basic survival techniques, including how to stay alive on the battlefield. With this, you get extra proficiencies in athletics and intimidation. You are able to use land-based vehicles, and then you get to choose one gaming set, like dice or chessboard and stuff like that.
My character might have joined a fighting force at one point. Let's hold on to that. That might determine my backstory based on one of those two.
All right. So we got two more. The next one is the traveling medic. Almost all the common people and other folk that one might encounter along the Sword Coast or in the north have one thing in common. They live out their lives without ever traveling more than a few miles from where they are born. You aren't one of those folks. You travel to see more of the world, to meet as many people and cultures as possible. To be able to support this traveling way of life, just as an entertainer would entertain, you help people with their wounds and illnesses. With that, you gain skill proficiencies in medicine. You also get to choose an additional skill. You get the herbalism kit as a tool, and you learn one additional language. And then the last and final one is the traveling musician.
I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? My friends were in a boy band, and I support them in every way possible, but I could never do it. Just not me, man. Just not me. I mean, I could be the mad manager. I was totally good being the guy who was like, yes, you want to go have pictures with them? I'm totally cool with that, but that pressure of getting on the stage and performing, nah.
So it sounds like you like the haunted one and
the haunted one
soldier.
Or the soldier, and I'm gonna go lean into the haunted one. That one just feels right. So the haunted one, what do I get?
You get two proficiencies. So you can either choose investigation and religion would be the only two left you haven't added a proficiency in.
You mean I can't just add more to my one proficiency?
Sometimes you can, but in this case, no.
In this case, because you already have an ability giving you something else. Now later on, if you get a feat that adds on more to it, you can.
So what I get, investigation and intimidation are the only ones left?
Investigation and religion are the only two left.
Well, definitely not religion. I'm sorry. It's not that I'm not religious. I was actually raised in Catholic school, but I just don't think that this guy. Well, hold on.
Well, you get two. So like, if those are your only two left, really, that's really what you're going to be getting anyway.
Oh yeah, because I'm investigative. Now I went from Aquaman to Sam and Dean.
But
well, see how far it goes when you going down the rabbit hole?
You wanted to do a little bit of tribute to Sam and Dean.
Yeah, so I got a little supernatural going on.
Even though you don't have to be
Aquaman.
proficient, like you're really into the religion, you don't have to be practicing. You could still
have common knowledge on theories and stuff like that to help.
If I'm hunting, if I can hunt Fae and Fiend, then I gotta know something about religion and stuff.
But hold on.
Yeah, so yeah,
this is a good point to make. He had an idea at the beginning that he thought he was making Aquaman. But look at we're a few minutes down the road, and it's a whole different character than what he thought he was making. That shows you why this is an important step before you jump into a game. Get a feel of the character, see what you think the character is going to be, and see how far it goes left. Because now he's just a dark-headed motherfucker that's going around looking at death.
I mean,
I thought you said like, no, I did not pick that blood curse.
That was the other one I didn't pick.
All right, yeah, no, for real. I mean, honestly, I'm now more of a supernatural hunter than I am
Aquaman.
Yeah, than I was Aquaman. So, all right, so that added to my what? My
religion and investigation.
Yeah,
+1 to those. And then the last two things you get is you're gonna get to choose 2 additional languages.
And last time you took
You took Abyssal.
I took Abyssal.
So you left Infernal, and then you have all the other languages that you can.
Well, you know what? I might as well finish off and get the Infernal. So I might as well get the Infernal, so that way I can I speak all the dark languages.
And then the last language you get is considered an exotic language. So you have 6 to choose from: Celestial, Deep Speech, which is like the serpent, world serpent; Draconic, Primordial, which is like the Titans; Sylvan, which is another race of elves; and then Undercommon, which is basically underground speech.
You're just gonna be the one talking to everybody.
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
Would you run into dragons more or Undercommon?
Dragon.
In the first campaign, yeah, and then the second campaign, now we're in the Underdark, so we have a lot more people that speak Undercommon. So it depends on
the story.
On where you guys are gonna be at. I will say if you with the adventure, it probably won't be a lot of there will be a lot of underworld stuff, but not really needing undercommon for the adventure. So you might run into more draconic type stuff. I will say, just so I can help you flush out your character.
I was leaning towards draconic anyways, because if I were
the cup.
Well, yeah, it's the cup, and I'm thinking to myself like, yo, I already speak common, elvish, abyssal,
damn near everything in the world.
Infernal, which actually, I mean, technically, I might even switch. I mean, abyssal infernal means I can speak to any kind of demon or undead.
Any demon and/or entity like that. Yeah.
And then, so I really covered like 3. Like I got my Mandarin, I got my Spanish, I got my English. Now I'm trying to learn something like
now you're
learning French, and now you're learning like German.
Yeah. Japanese or dragons. So I'm gonna learn draconic.
Russian.
I'm gonna throw draconic in there.
Draconic.
So now I speak abyssal and infernal. I can speak to
anything underneath. He got it.
He's like, if those two don't work for intimidation, I'll just start dragging shit at them.
They'll be like, crazy. He's cutting himself and speaking dragon.
He's speaking in tongues.
I don't even like my master. You can go ahead and kill him. I'm just gonna go over here.
I should let you know, this is part
I
of
love how this guy. Can we cut to me real quick? I love how this guy's like, by the way, I should have let you know.
Well, no, this activates because of the background trait you took. So you get a Heart of Darkness, which those who look into your eyes can see that you have faced unimaginable horror and that you are no stranger to darkness. Though they might fear you, commoners will extend you every courtesy and do their utmost to help you. Unless you have shown yourself to be a danger to them, they will even take up arms to fight alongside you.
Oh, shit.
And should you find yourself facing an enemy alone. So this is important to know because that's how you can play your character out, to interact with other people. Or you could be like certain people and just totally ignore backgrounds and traits that are preset for your character.
Let's be real though. He would set those backgrounds and then go completely against them.
Every time.
It's like those are just more guidelines, maybe? Not even.
Hold up. First of all, I know you not talking.
My character was built exactly the way I played him.
How many times have we played good characters and ended up being bad ones?
First off, mine was chaotic neutral. Whatever I felt good was good. The new guy is chaotic good now.
You played
your one shot. I was.
No, you wasn't. You stuffed an old man in a bag,
but I left his head out so he could breathe.
No!
In my defense, it's because you were trying to attack him.
No, I wasn't.
I said, yeah, you did.
All right, we're derailing.
I didn't attack him. I swung.
You swung on an old man?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I did.
The old man gave him a place to rest.
He bobbed and weave, hit me with a 2-piece, and we put him in a bag.
They got free food.
I'm gonna have to keep an eye on you with my Heart of Darkness.
No, please. Yeah, you want to keep an eye.
I'm gonna have to rally the commoners. You see this motherfucker right here? I don't know if I'm gonna do him a Braveheart or Samuel L. Jackson speech. You see this motherfucker right here?
You know what's funny?
He dropped the snakes on the motherfucking plane.
But what's crazy
it's
is
his fault.
His character and my character are complete opposites, but the same.
Yeah.
I'm a tiefling.
Oh, yeah.
I look like a devil.
No,
and you speak to the devil.
That's why he chose. He chose a tiefling for his thing.
Wow. Okay. So this is, in other words, let me translate for you real quick. Okay. This motherfucker right here wants to do what he wants to do.
I look like the devil. He is the devil.
Am I the key in your translation? The ghetto translator.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak common.
So his race is actually they're cursed.
Their whole bloodline was cursed by a demon or infernal creature. Yeah. And now even if his parents was like a minotaur and a tiefling, he's always gonna come out a tiefling.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then on top of which, they're very likely to be pushed to the dark side, just because of that curse. But yeah, they're by default they're hated by everybody. And
so we're either besties or I can't stand your ass.
Exactly.
It's probably gonna be a mixture of both at the exact same time.
A little bit, a lot, maybe.
So the last thing we got to choose is going to be your overall starting equipment. So you get to start off here. You can either choose a martial weapon or 2 simple weapons. So for your martial, I'll give you just kind of a quick one. You can have a hand crossbow, glaive, longsword, battle axe, flail, great axe, great sword, halberd, lance, maul, morning star, pike, rapier, scimitar, short sword, a trident, a war pick, a war hammer, a whip, a blowgun, a heavy crossbow, a longbow, a net, or a double-bladed scimitar. Those are just your martial weapons. If you chose...
Yeah, right?
He threw everything that he had in the book at you.
Damn.
Or you can choose 2 simple weapons.
Okay.
Which is either going to be a dagger, club, great club.
You said 2 things and you're already at 4.
Dagger, club, great club.
No, 2 simple weapons. 2, one of each or 2 of each?
Or 2 of the same, yeah.
All right.
So you can choose. Hand axe, javelin, light hammer, mace, quarterstaff, a sickle, spear, a light crossbow, a dart, a short bow, a sling, boomerang, or a Yukla. I don't know what it is. YKLWA. Yukla.
So
you do get a cross-hand bow.
No, he does get alchemist supplies by default.
Yeah.
So,
but you do get a cross-hand bow out the gate anyway. So technically, you don't have to choose that as one of your weapons if you didn't want to.
a cross hand bow. That's like a little.
Yeah.
One hand. All right. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I could use that. So I get a cross hand bow just off the bat.
Mm-hmm. You get a light one, which is require 2 hands, or just the one-handed hand one out the gate. And then you still get to choose either 2 simple weapons or 1 martial weapon.
The good thing about the cross hand bow, I'm already thinking about what I would do with. I could do with them stuff like that. I almost feel like I should have gotten that one plus the fart thing. Kind of shot people in the ass.
Made them
Blood
loaded
crystal.
and then just
Plug up their ass.
And then just
like a
boom.
balloon.
Hey, just pop them. But that's okay. Opportunity missed. That's all right. I'm going to use the cross hand bow for other reasons. And then what's the difference in as far as like hit strategy between the martial weapon and the...
So martial weapons in general are going to kind of give you a bigger damage.
Mm-hmm.
They're either going to be one-handed, and you can either use a shield or use a hand crossbow, or you can use them as 2-handed to gain extra damage. Your simple weapons, you can dual wield them if you want to, or same thing, have a shield and a dagger or like a club. They're typically going to have a lower...
Heavier the weapon, harder the hit.
Yeah, they're going to have a lesser hit, but...
Lighter the weapon, lighter the hit.
Yeah. Now, it also goes into your play style. Like, do you want to be close range? Do you want to be long
Do you
distance?
want to be a range player, close up?
But what's good about your blood magic, the one that you picked, it allows you to kind of be a mid-range fighter overall, because you can jump back and forth between close and far. But your best thing is going to be at a mid-range where you can swap if you need to. You can start with the hand, and then once they get too close, you can pull out a sword or whatever weapon you choose.
Yeah. Since I already got a distance weapon, I'm thinking I'm going to go with a sword. I guess give me the martial weapons again. Mm-hmm. Eliminate anything that is...
You want to set to one-handed weapon, or do you want to bladed weapon?
Because you see, if I end up with 2 hands, then I can't retreat and pull out my crossbow. So eliminate all 2-handed weapons. Give me just a one-handed martial weapons.
So we have a long sword.
Mm-hmm.
We have a battle axe, flail, a maul, morning star, a pike, a rapier, scimitar, a short sword. You have a war pick, a whip.
In every one that I've ever had, I've had the great sword,
And the
battle
trident.
axe, morning star, trident.
We haven't had the morning star yet.
I had the morning star.
Do they use the morning star? How do they
In the
describe
OG.
it? How do they describe the morning star?
The morning star is though it's not the
that
chainy
long.
one. It's
I didn't have
it's
it
like
long,
the
but I
actual
had it.
ball with spikes on
I
it.
used it like
Morning
twice.
That morning star.
I used it twice.
Morningstar.
Does that have a piercing or blunt? What kind of?
I think that one's bludgeoning.
Yeah, it is bludgeoning.
You get to choose. You get to choose if you're swinging with it with 2 hands or 1 hand.
Yeah, some weapons are multi.
And if let's say you're on that action, you're using both hands, you get another D, whatever it is.
It could change from a D6 to a D8, so you have a higher chance of doing increased damage.
Morningstar is actually piercing. I was wrong about that.
Morningstar? Alright.
Am I a dude who fights with a sword? I'm an aquatic elf. And Morningstar seems too blunt for an aquatic elf. You know, a half aquatic elf.
I mean, you could do something like get daggers,
Like
like
a-
short swords.
You like a whip? A whip would be. You have a bladed whip. That could be cool. Running around with that thing, swinging around.
I did just watch Ninja Assassins.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
That is a really good movie.
What?
That would be
Bladed
that's a
It's
that's
just
a
regular
chain
whip.
whip.
But you can finagle one. It's called homebrew, dog. He wants the bladed whip.
That's,
Give him a
that,
bladed
hey,
whip.
you the DM.
I'm
you,
trying
you
to think
make
of the
you-
whip
You
that's
make the
flowing
judgment
like
call
water.
on that.
That's gonna be the, or just really good swordsman.
You're the
That's my
DM. You do it. I'm not gonna metagame you.
But also the thing about a good chain whip like that is that could also use it to like cross things. You know what I mean? Climb restrain things, wrap them up. You know what I mean? Put a blood curse on them. I could probably.
He's thinking Ghost Rider aspect.
No, there is a thing for a chain where you can use it for hit points. So you could just carry a chain. It's 10 hit points.
No, we're really talking about Ghost right now. God damn.
All he's missing is a flaming head and a penance there.
He almost got one.
He's dark enough for it.
Yeah, I am dark enough for it, and I'm hunting down bad
We
guys.
went from Aquaman to Sam and Dean to
Ghost
Ghost
Rider.
Rider. See, this shit is going everywhere.
Listen, all it is he's just an aquafied version of Sam and Dean who has a spirit of vengeance. That's all it is.
That's it. You know, I'll take
We
that.
created a whole new character.
I know exactly how to play that.
Shit, he's Constantine.
All right. Just out of shits and giggles, could I do a chain whip similar to that with that blade at the end?
Yeah, so if you choose a whip, we can. There are already items where there is a chain whip, or you can have a bladed whip, however you want to choose it. But yeah, we can finagle it. So if you want the whip, we can then finagle it. So that way
That feels like an aquatic weapon.
It's very fluid.
Like I'm also gonna if I went fishing with it, I'd be like catch big fish on my whip.
So,
All right, I'm gonna go with the chain
the
whip. I did not think I would pick that at all. I'm more of a sword guy myself, but
You let the character drive you
As
to
a
where
DM,
it was going.
This is where we'll have to do a little bit of modifying.
Yes, I'll do that later on.
You'll do that later on? Okay.
So next thing you're gonna choose is finally your
chain
armor.
whip with blade. By the way, no,
Yeah,
make sure we
yeah,
get that.
It'll be a bladed whip. You're fine. I got you.
As in Ninja Assassin. Someone's gonna look up that. Someone in the comments probably looked at it and be like, "It's called a this." I'm like, sorry.
Honestly, I wouldn't. There probably is a for sure name for it. We're getting it so wrong.
No, there's a chain whip with the one where they spin around and they do all the tricks with it. It's known as a chain whip.
Yeah,
So
we're talking
I'm
about
glad
the
my
bladed
dexterity's up there. Shit.
one. I'm thinking of like
What was it? Picture my acrobatic. Oh, I got acrobatics
Renji
too.
from from
Bleach.
Bleach, where he has the chain sword and it breaks apart and then turns to a whip with blades on it. So it's like that's what I'm envisioning. He's thinking of.
No, he's actually thinking of a whoop.
Actual chain whip.
Oh, just the one where he just with the ball. Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm. Like Jackie Chan from.
Although shit, now that he said the bleach one, I'm like, holy crap! Wait a minute, I could have a sword and a whip. But that's really custom. Like I don't even think that exists.
That's homebrew.
No, that exists. They even have belt ones that do that.
So I could have a sword that then can turn into a chain whip.
Yeah,
So,
and we can have it do the same damage. It'd be a D6, but your range would be extended, and it would go.
I wouldn't want it as fat though. I still want it like to be like
slim. You can
It'd
have
be-
it slim.
Actually, you know who had it? What was that one fighting game that
Soul
had
Blade.
Soul Blade? Thank you.
Soul Calibur and Soul Blade, yeah.
Soul Calibur and Soul
there was a
Blade.
chick that would do that. She would
Yes.
have that, as kind of sword weapon.
Do you understand what that looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna switch to that because that seems like more like I'm here.
Fluid.
I'm here, and then I need to like whip it out, and I can whip it out, and sometimes I gotta whip it out.
See now.
Hey, sometimes you gotta put it out on the table.
Now this part, like
So what's that, son?
what we're
Good
talking
thing
about
it's
right now.
right?
This is a thing that when you're developing your character and you're going to approach your DM like this is what I want to do. Your DM can make that decision to say I'll allow it or
Yeah, like my DM, he's being douche. He ain't replying to my request on the new character I want to bring in. Your shit sucks. It's a gunslinger.
you're still paralyzed.
And see, this is.
Oh, I'm not talking about it for this campaign.
No, I'm
You
talking
wear
about the
it
one that
almost
you're
like
doing
a
right now
belt.
with you.
Oh,
Still
sweet.
turn to a sword and
still
then still
waiting.
have the whip effect too.
Oh, belt, sword whip.
All I see is him doing it like Pootie Tang.
Yeah, dude, that's how I keep my bitches in check. No, I'm joking. My wife's gonna see this and be like, "What?
You put who in check?
It's a fantasy, babe. It's a fantasy. I'm allowed to say it."
She said, "Just wait till you come home. I'll have it built and ready for you."
"Oh my gosh, Eesh. How detailed do y'all get with your backstory?"
Yo, be as detailed as you want. My first one and my second one are technically decently detailed. It doesn't necessarily have to tie in with the world itself. I can work yours in and then build.
Well, I'm only gonna take it up to a certain point because I feel like this character isn't old. You know what I mean? He's
Fairly young.
Like I want to say like if you had to say college graduate, but I would say probably more like that early, like late 20s, early 30s,
in
probably
that
like 32.
undergrad phase?
Yeah, 30. Nah, I wouldn't say undergrad. I'd say if he was going from 28 to 32, somewhere around there. I haven't quite decided yet. Old enough that he's already
He's been in the world.
He's got some experience, but he's still got a long way to go. But he's got some shit that he
Especially
can do.
being a half elf, technically you're still a kid at that age.
Oh shit, half elves. That's right. They have longer life, right?
Yeah, they can live up to
Right now,
like
you're about
200, I think.
120. If you're going for that range, you're about 120. Because they
Well,
age
technically,
hella
look how
slow.
many languages I learned. So okay, I'm gonna have to up his age a little bit. So in human years, I guess I was looking at 30 something like that. What would that be in elven years?
Probably around like
Half elf.
90.
Okay, that gives me time to have learned like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The average lifespan of half elves around 200.
You reach adulthood at age 20, but you can easily go up to like 180 and above in age. So,
you know what? As much as this dude's learned, I'm gonna put him at a cool 80. Because you said 100 is.
No, you reach adulthood at 20, but you can go up to 180, 200.
Your body, as far as physically wise, matures like a normal human to about 20. So that's where you know, okay, cool, you're a young adult there. But then from there on, your elven will take over, and then you'll still be looked at 20-something, but you can be like 90, 80. But your average lifespan is around 200 years or so as a half elf.
200 years. So I don't want to be. So if let's go with human years. If I was 80, and let's say that's equals 200, 40 would be midlife, 30 would be, so yeah.
65,
70, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'm going to put him around that age. 69 years old.
He's like, I'm dark, but not too dark.
Height-wise, you would be closer to like anywhere between 5 to 6 feet. I mean,
plus he also doesn't know who his daddy is, so he could be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving like the average.
He was a big dude. My daddy was a big dude, so I'm gonna put myself at that 6 foot, 6'1", somewhere around there. But like built like what's his name, the swimmer,
Michael Phelps.
Built like Phelps. You know what I mean? Like lean,
very
just
tall and lean, and there's muscle there, but it's just very elongated muscle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the last equipments you gotta choose when we further go into your backstory is going to be your general armor. So you have 2 options for your armor. You can either choose a studded leather armor, which is going to be more on the lighter or medium side, or a scale mail armor, which is more towards the heavy armor. There's benefits and downsides to each one.
I thought when you said scales, I was thinking like some sort of like a fish aquatic looking scale thing.
Yeah, technically that's what scale armor would be. It's almost like
scales. But you're talking about metal scales.
Yeah.
Yeah, metal scales is too heavy for my movements.
So you're probably more towards
whipping that thing
leather.
around and shit.
You want to have more towards leather.
Yeah, let me get that leather. Let me get that Castlevania upgrade armor.
I'm too broke for that. Can I get leather? Leather, please. Thank you.
I made some money coming up. At 6 to 7 years, I at least learned how to invest a little some. I ain't rich, but I got some money. So leather armor.
I'm po.
So that's basically everything, which means if we look at and I'll show you the character sheet itself so you can fill it out there with your actual stats. You basically start off with 9 health. Your armor class is 13. So here's a visual. So as far as like your +1 for your strength, that was like I said, 11 goes to 12, 12 1 to 13 for that. These are going to be your modifiers. So anything that's going to be like strength based, whichever ones are, I guess, acrobatics. Or no, that's dex. So dex, you would get a +1 in order to go ahead and do anything you do. So if you try and dodge out or something, you're going to roll a d20. If it's an 18, you add 1 to it. So you technically rolled a 19. But these are going to be your general stats. Your initiative means whenever you're about to start combat, we're going to roll a d20. Whatever you get on the d20 +1, that'll be your place out of everyone else that's also in combat. Your armor class is basically the number someone has to meet or beat in order to hit you and do damage. Mm-hmm. And then your proficiency, if you're trying to do something, for instance, that uses intelligence or dexterity, you're proficient in those, so you're going to do your normal mods plus an additional 2.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. So you get add-ons later on. So these are all your skills. So this one shows you like Arcana. You actually have advantage on this because of your background and your class. And these are how your modifiers will play out. So you see how like some you have +1 intimidation. You want to try and scare the crap out of somebody. You get a -1 on that on your roll because you aren't really all that proficient, and your stats aren't built up for that way. Technically, you have all your actions. As far as what you can do in combat, as far as just your physical damage plus.
Now, considering, that we're not sponsored by D&D Beyond, is that something that you can send to me?
Yeah, I can send you this. So afterwards, I'll either get your number or your Discord, and I can send it directly to you. It'll have your entire list pulled out that you can scroll through, click through, whenever, so you have access to it and make modifications to it as you level up.
And then, since I have my own account, how do I add that character to my account?
So you can actually copy it.
To rebuild it? Or
you wouldn't have to rebuild it. So when I send it to you, you can actually open it up in your characters and copy that specific character, and then copy it onto yours. That way you can have it there and change it or make mods whenever you want.
Because can I write my backstory into here directly?
Yeah.
That way I can type it. Because if I try to write it in here, I'll be like, oh man, I gotta write so small.
No, for sure you can do that. And even if you wanted to handwrite it, you can do it on a regular piece of paper, and then You can just have it uploaded as a picture. It is what it is. But yeah, this one, it just helps because it keeps everything managed already. So from your starting equipment, minus your armor stuff we chose, you also still get a backpack, bedroll, and stuff like that. Common clothes for your adventure. So you're going to have stuff on hand, really. And then these are just your traits. So from here, it's really just your...
So that's it. I got my whip sword, I got my leather armor, I got my little hand crossbow.
You best to
Correct.
go.
All right.
All right. Yeah, that seems pretty ready to fight. You'll let me know. Well, I'll see what that other stuff is, like the backpack. And well, I guess the backpack is what I mean.
Yeah, that's where all
Yeah.
your other equipment and all your other stuff is going to be in.
And yeah, it comes with a lot of stuff just standard with your adventure. You get like the standard equipment, like bedroll. You get a water canteen so you can grab stuff and whatnot. Some groups will play very high survival, so it's like, okay, you based on your stats, you can only carry up to this amount without being overburdened. Once you're overburdened, now you have to actually eat more often. Remember to eat, remember to drink, remember to get the appropriate amount of sleep, stuff like that. In most games, we haven't really
We've never really did that.
Well, we're doing that now.
We're starting to, but we haven't really had to worry about how much we're carrying because we normally don't even carry that much shit anyways.
No,
Most
we
of the
really
time, if you're doing like what we're gonna do with you is do a one shot, which is a short little bit, and it's usually think of it like 1 or 2 days in the game world. So you're not gonna really need to be consuming food or anything like that unless it's written into the story.
Right.
So that's usually not really a necessity to worry about. And then carrying stuff that could be written into the story for a one shot, but that's usually more like just to make sure that your guy doesn't carry I carry a giant boulder on my back.
Or I stuff every weapon imaginable from the store we just bought them all from into my book bag, and I can carry them all without any issues. Like crazy stuff like that.
Unless I have a magical book bag.
There are
but
those.
even those have limits too.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Just asking. When did I get to find out about your character?
Oh yeah, now's the
We're
time.
about to do it now.
We're done with his. It's done.
I got a character, yo. His name is Carib. He's half elf.
You ready? Let's do this. Oh, we're not doing it like his? Damn.
You did yours.
Oh, we
I
just
really
ran out of
did.
footage.
My plan was
I really
to do it side
didn't.
by side, same time.
I really didn't.
Then read.
I should let you know we ran out of film.
The cap was on.
All right, I'm a tiefling. Whatever.
What's a tiefling? Dude, I'm newbie. I don't know.
It's a
demon race,
Demon.
basically.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that.
It's a demon. He has horns. He looked like a doe.
Gotcha.
So with that, his trait with that race, I get a +2 to charisma, +1 again for intelligence. I have dark vision. I got hellish resistance, which means I have resistance to flames. And the class I'm going with is a rogue. With that, I get to pick 4 skills that I am proficient in, which I went with athletics, sleight of hand, stealth, and proficiency. That's as far as I got.
So what else does he have to do? Because he doesn't sound like a complete character.
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
That's usually
I stopped when I thought I was far enough that when we got to my turn, we could speed mines up. But he wanted to do mine's different. I don't feel special, John.
I was gonna do it side by side, but you wanna be like, I've already built mine.
I just
don't worry about it.
I just did it like that because
Okay.
he's more newer than I am in it, so
I get it.
It takes longer for me. I get it. I totally understand.
I want him to feel
Let me
special.
just run this. So you
I do
went.
feel special.
You went
Thank
tiefling.
114.
Absolutely.
All right. So
See,
you
we're
went.
already speaking the same language.
You went tiefling and you went rogue.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me add that in. Your proficiency is what did you choose? You get 4 skills.
Yeah. Perception, athletics, sleight of hand, and stealth.
Sleight of hand and stealth. All right. Expertise.
Theory tools and stealth.
All right. Did you roll your stats?
No.
All right. Let's do that.
Yeah. Let me see what you roll.
He is
Yeah,
double
expert
up
does
on
it.
it.
Holy shit.
12,
That's what I'm saying.
16 on the first one.
Yep, we're at 16 now.
Hey, I had 16 on the first one too. Don't get too
14.
happy.
Your highest was 14.
14.
That's 11.
11.
Chickpea snacks?
Maybe I should have switched dice.
I told you.
Yeah, his first character had dumb rolls too.
7, 9. I'm doing this 6 times, right?
Oh, snap.
Total, yeah. Not bad, right?
10, 11.
They crunch different. They're chickpea snacks.
Oh shit.
12. 12 and 5 is 17.
I want him to roll for me next time.
I'm not going to roll like this in the game.
No, that will not happen in the game.
Last one. Let's go out with a bang. 10, 12. All right.
Where do you want to assign them to? Let me know your highest. Where you want with that?
Is a 16th. So
You have 17 too.
oh shit, 17th.
Yeah, you did
Thanks
get
for pointing that out. The 17th, the 17. I'm gonna put on stealth.
Which is Dex.
No, remember so the
Strength?
The
Oh no, Dex.
So that's
The
a +3.
12. I'm gonna put on intelligence because I already have a +2 to that, so that's a 14. The 16. I'm gonna put in wisdom.
Okay.
The 11. I'm gonna put in constitution. The other 11. I'm gonna put in charisma.
Okay.
And the 9. I'm gonna put in strength.
So you're a sneaky bitch.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool.
All right. What's your guy's name?
I'm on.
With from Korra.
Amon.
Nah, I just looked at on the stats and it was one of the first names. I was like, hey!
What
Amon.
what background do you want to choose? Criminal spy?
Because I'm Caribbean. I'm from the Caribbean. I'm always gonna call him Amon.
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 My name's not Amon. It's Amon. Yeah, Amon now.
Yeah, Amon now to me.
And I'm gonna pick the
This whole
thieving
character
spy.
Yeah, so you get an additional skill. Acrobatics, animal handling, arcana.
Animal handling.
Okay.
And then you get 2 proficiencies. So the first one is a gaming set. So dice, dragon chess, playing card, or 3 dragon anti-set.
3 dragon anti-set.
All right.
I don't know what that is, but
I don't know either. Then you get a tool. So you can either choose alchemist supplies, bagpipes, brewer's supplies, calligrapher's supplies, carpenter tools, cartographer's tools, cobbler's tools, cook's utensils, dice set, disguise kit.
Disguise set.
Okay. And then equipment. Do you want to start off with a rapier or a short sword?
Short sword.
Okay.
Short sword.
Do you want a
Enunciate.
Do you want a short bow with a quiver of 20 arrows or an additional short sword?
The bow.
Do you want a burglar's pack, a dungeoneer's pack, or an explorer's pack? So if we do the burglars, it starts off with 1,000 ball bearings, 10 feet of string, a bell, 5 candles, a crowbar, a hammer, 10 pythons, a hooded lantern, flask of oil, and rations. The dungeoneer's pack includes a crowbar, hammer, 10 pythons, 10 torches, a tinder box.
That one.
And then from there, you guys done. So you start off with 8 health, but your armor class is 14.
Yeah.
And then what's nice is once you're at level 3. Level 3 is when you get your first subclass where you get to choose, or if you want to at that point choose an additional class.
I already know which additional class I will go with.
So getting to level 3 is probably getting to level 5 is probably one of the easiest things you'll be able to do. And I will say that once we start getting close and start like doing the adventure, we'll start looking at what you want to do subclass wise, or if you want to multi-class, because you'll get to level 3 pretty quick.
Okay.
We're gonna call it right there. We both created a character. Let's see where we're gonna go with this story. Keep up with us when we do drop the first episode of this one shot. When we ever do it, I don't know. Will we ever do it? Yeah. See you next time.
We are doing it.
Bitch, you gotta give him a suspense, motherfucker.
They already know
it's at my expense. I'm like, I just built the motherfucker. What do you mean, if?